Alright, well, moving on to the snapper. This one, the first, overall look I see, it doesn't have a pull start on it. I did grab the blade underneath and turn it. The motor still turns. Looking in the gas tank, I don't see anything. Looks like the screen has been ripped off the base right there where the drain is. I think that's what that is. Not hard to tell. See it? So there's no fuel in it. Can be a good thing. So it's a Honda motor. It's got a decent motor on it, 5.5 horse. I think probably the best bet would be to check for spark. We got to go do that anyway. So probably going to go pop the air cleaner assembly off. We'll go take the fan shroud off and see if we can get down to the motor to where we can spin it and see if it does have spark. And if it has spark, we're going to go chase a pull start and go from there. All right, well, I'm into this one too. I have a pair of pliers on the Deadman on the handlebar, and I just kind of blew it out. There's a socket down inside there, so I just have my drill on there on low speed, and I figure we'll just go spin that. And I'm not seeing anything, so that's not a good sign. But sometimes what happens is the cable for the Deadman gets a little crappy over time, and it doesn't quite pull far enough to make the switch. So I'm probably going to go take a tie wrap and tie wrap this further this way and see if my spark comes back before I go any further. So what I ended up doing was I just pulled the cable right out of its holster, squeezed it with a pair of pliers, don't mind the ant, and just pulled it back further and clamped it with a pair of vice grips to get it, again, like I said, all the way to the into the run position. Let's see what we get now. There you go. Alright, we got spark. I don't think the drill is going to have enough balls to try and start it. I may give it a shot, but we should probably just fix the pull start. I think we're close enough. I don't see any ripped out. Is that one ripped out? Both there. I'm looking at these two paws right here. Sometimes they break off and flip backwards, but they look like they're still intact. I'm just looking to see if the spring is still good too. I gotta look into the spring, see if the spring's doing something funky under there. Oh, you know what that is? That's the leftover part of the rope. That's what it is. Alright, so let me go work on this and see if we can go get ourselves a functioning pull start. So I went to go redo the pull start cord. That's kind of what's left of it. And unfortunately, it has an issue with the clock spring. And the clock spring is the spring that's on the inside of it that allows it to recoil itself back in. Now it's still holding on the side, on the outside, just that little metal tab right there. Unfortunately, it's in the middle, and these are units that are kind of no use serviceable parts. They kind of crimp over a big pin in the center. You can see that how it's kind of crimped over, and that pinches everything together. So yes, I'm gonna go try to take it apart, but I know I do not have one of these in my stash anywhere, so at least I don't think so. I'm gonna take a quick peek, but if not, maybe I'll do a little bit of surgery on that guy and see what happens. Agglomerated mess. I did some operation, and the operation was to grind the center of that post out so that I can get this assembly off. It was that first, then that was able to come off. Now I'm flipping over. I'm trying to get my way into the clock spring and see if we can put a new end on it without launching this thing. It's like a grenade. So let's see if I can show that in the camera. You see right there where that tab is going the wrong way? That's got to get bent so that it catches on that groove right there. You can see there's a notch in it. So I'm gonna go try to do that without exploding the thing to high heaven, and see if we can reassemble it and possibly put like a pan bolt or something up through the center of it to secure everything. So as you can see, that little tab is now sticking out of there, and that's going to be the piece that needs to catch on that lip right there, so the clock spring has something to catch onto. So I'm going to reassemble that and then see if I can try to get some kind of bolt to go right up through the center of this somehow and re-secure everything back together. And if so, then get some rope and see if this thing will chug. The pull start's back together of sorts. I have a jam nut on a bolt going through it, and then there is a lock washer of sorts in the middle of it, just to kind of give, like, this thing needs a little bit of drag. It needs to be able to spin, but it needs to have some drag so that the cogs will push out when you pull on the cable. So I wound it all the way up till it couldn't go any further, and then I backed it off a half a turn and then ran the rope through it. So it's going to want to buzz itself back in. To that far. I think the rope's low on the fat side too. Anyway, it should be enough. You know, I just want to throw it. It ain't easy being a cameraman. Alright, hold on a second. So the idea is that when you pull on it, those cogs need to be able to come out. Where are they? Where are they? So they have to be able to come out with some drag on some pins to be able to catch the walls on the inside of here. So however that turns out is how that turns out. If everything else works great on this machine and it needs a pull start, I have no problem ordering a pull start off of eBay or something for a few bucks if that's what it needs to go fix it. But again, we're just still in the troubleshooting part of this deal, and we're trying to make sure what we have is something worthwhile fixing. So let me get the pull start on here and let's see if we can get this thing to run and die. All right, we got kind of a pull start. Let's dump a little fuel on her. She'll run and die. Got something. That's turtle. Let's go. Sounds like it'll be all right. So it's good enough to go and pursue further on. So I am now going to pull the float bowl, and we'll see what nasties are in the carburetor, and we got to go deal with in there. Hopefully nothing. That ain't good. That's the inside. So it was just plain full of water, I'd say. So that sucker's going to need to come off of there and be soaked. I'm going to try something my cousin wrote me. I think he said Pine Sol. Use Pine Sol in your parts washer, carb cleaner, and it does a really good job. How it's going to do for rust, I don't know. I'll probably have to hit it with a sandblaster first, get that out of there, and kind of wire wheel off whatever's here. But that carburetor definitely has to come off and come apart. And it's the next day, and it's a reedy one at that. And I got a call this morning from a friend of mine who installs sprinkler systems, and he was on a back road, and he said there's a tractor out front. The town did not pick it up because they had gas in the gas tank, and they put a tag on it. You see what's left of the orange tag right there. But it's got a good, appears to be a good overhead valve Briggs motor in it, 15 horse. The rest of the tractor is what it is, hydrostatic. Looks like the back two tires are probably decent. Their front ones are bubbling air. It's got a good seat on it. Anyway, the $20 Craftsman that has the blown motor, that I believe that motor will fit on that tractor, so that's on the list of seeing if that motor's any good, and then it'll go into that tractor, and that tractor can come back to life. But we're still working on the snapper and with the dirty carb, so I'm gonna go and continue to tear that carburetor off of there and see if we can get that sucker soaking and cleaned up and see if we can get it to run. Alright, I made an executive decision on the snapper, and I've decided to stop moving any further forward with it, just due to the fact of the stuff that it's going to need versus what it would sell for and how much time I would have to put into it. Looked on eBay last night. The pull start, you get it for 20 bucks. Delivered from China. Not that that's that big of a deal, but also the drive disc. It uses like a snowmobile setup that slides back and forth. Snowblower setup that slides back and forth, one disc on the other, and you pick the speeds. It sees to the shaft. Not that that's that big of a deal, but it's also got a bad spot on the drive disc itself. So the disc is probably going to be 20-30 bucks. Needs blade, change the oil. The carburetor's got all that rust issues on it. It's you know, probably 50-50 whether that's going to come back. So it's just not worth the effort. If I probably would have taken a little bit more time in the beginning when I looked at it, I probably would have come to that conclusion earlier. But you know, that's just the way it is. It's free stuff on the side of the road, and you know, some work, some don't. So it's probably going to end up going into the Purgatory trailer, and I can pick from it if I need some stuff. And if not, you know, it just goes back to Mother Nature, and it'll get recycled again. So that's that guy. I figured now I'm going to go move on to the Craftsman. That one runs. The drive does not work, so I already see everything's all packed up with grass and everything in the front chute. But let me go swap these around. We'll go pop that one up there and see what the deal is with that. So this one's up on the bench, and I popped the cover off for the drive, and someone's been in here before me. Unfortunately, they cut the drive belt, and then they cut the cable that comes down and drives that pulley. I'm spinning the pulley, and the front tires are not turning. So it probably had there's a set of gears on the inside of the wheel here that have a tendency to strip out, and you change the little gear in them, and it's okay. But unfortunately, somebody hacked all the crap that controls it out of there. So again, it's not worth buying that stuff to go and repair it. So what's going to happen now is I'm just going to remove the debris, the belt, and see if I can get the controller handle off of there. And we're just going to make it so it's just a push mower, not a self-propelled one, and let it go as that. But I'm going to continue on to service it and see what we get, and turn this one around. And a little further investigation. This is what I'm talking about. On the inside, it just has a gear, and the gear drives the wheel with the teeth on it. But as you can see, the teeth are broken in that one section. So every time this wheel was kind of going around, and it would skip, and then when it would want to go and catch the next gear again, if it was out of sync, it would probably just jam and make the mower do all kinds of funky banging and hopping. So they thought it was probably the transmission and whatnot. They kept trying to hack stuff off of it to make it stop going away. Finally, they just gave up on it. You know, if it was caught earlier, you could have just got another wheel for it. Sometimes the back wheels are the exact same thing. You can actually put them on the front. But in this case, the old saying, it is what it is. We're going to do is pull that clip, pull that gear off, put the wheel back together again, and it's just going to be a push mower, and that's it. So we're going to go sharpen the blade and check the condition in the oil, check the condition of the plug. Not put too much time in it, but we want to make sure it's something that's going to run for a couple of years down the road. So let me get this all taken down, the gears off it, put the wheels back, take the gear off, put the wheels back on. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know. Got visitors today.
Look what I wore my shirt.
you Dizzy, and we won't call her the maid. We'll call her Tina. And Dizzy bought me a present.
Oh yeah.
And I believe that is an AH-47. It's that same little Tecumseh two-stroker that I had. I think I showed on one of the videos. It was one of the bikes. One of the motors.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it. The video I seen, you had that small motor, and I was
Right.
like, well, that's why I have another one. It's the Eskimo motor one.
Yeah.
And I thought this, I was like, you know, I'm not going to use that. I said, I'll bring it with me.
So I guess we're going to consider it a trade.
Yeah. Well, and this is sharp. It's got the point on it and all that.
Awesome.
I mean, and you know there's the clutches in there, so you could probably use that for something. I mean, I don't know how you set yours up with the belt system.
Me neither. Each one's each one's different. So.
Right.
So that's awesome. And then we're gonna go do I guess a handoff, because I got a bunch of tools that I had gotten from my in-laws place that I cleaned out. That's over in the storage building where Lucy was, and these two guys are gonna go over and we're gonna let them pick what they want out of that. And on that note, we'll shut down. We'll see you over there.
And we came and picked through this big pile of the musty ones, and this is what we got. And I'm gonna take this home. You got me a lot of goodies. I'll have to show you when we get back home. So thank you, kind sir. I appreciate it.
Sir.
And thanks for letting me come and.
And so the game goes on. So I stuck the other Craftsman out front that didn't have the drive working on it, and put that one out for 60 bucks. Someone came by and said, "Hey, you do trade-ins?" So I took this one in, and I took 40 bucks for the other one. So this one supposed to run and die. I have a feeling, again, it's probably going to be the interlock for the dead man. The handlebars are kind of all boogered up, and I have a feeling that the cable is not getting pulled far enough to turn it on all the way, judging by that little funkiness there too. So I guess, as I said, the game continues. So I'm probably going to wrap this video up. I'm sure it's fairly long, but you get the idea what's happening for about the next 2 weeks or so. I'll glue this one together, and I'll stick this one out and get rid of these, and then we can kind of get back to wrenching more on the bikes. Thanks for watching. Later.